So in this video, we're gonna go over when is it appropriate to hire an SDR inside of your business, and once it is the correct time, how to do that successfully. The biggest things that you should be thinking about right now is, do I have enough time to reach out to the number of people that I need to reach out to hit our sales and revenue goals this year? If you're a business owner and you're wearing too many hats already, you're in sales, you are in operations, you're in fulfillment, you're in client retention, you're running your bookkeeping, you're doing finances, you're doing everything, right? I'm sure a lot of us can attest to that point. But if you are doing that, you're not giving the proper time and energy that is required to grow the top of your funnel. So it's probably a good time to hire an SDR. One of our most recent clients that we placed an SDR with, they were spending so much time and energy on marketing, bringing in qualified leads through an opt-in funnel, but they didn't have the time as busy business owners to actually call all the people who are interested in their service. So all this work with not enough time and effort to actually make money from the effort that they're doing, right? So this sounds like you. What we did for them is we placed an SDR. They were converting 2% of their opt-ins, and now using someone and actually having someone dedicated to doing this function in your business, we got it to over 30%. Massive jump with just adding an SDR. So if any of that sounds like you, or maybe you just don't like doing outreach and booking meetings, and which is totally fine as well, this video is going to be great for you because we're going to go into when and how to do these things successfully in your business. So when is it appropriate to hire an SDR and how to do that successfully? A lot of people I see, they want to make one sales hire, but they want this person to be able to do everything. They want them to do the prospecting. They want them to find the contacts. They want them to write the email copy, write the cold call script, send the cold emails, send the cold calls, book the meetings. Once the meeting is booked, then you have to have the discovery call, do the closing call, right? They want to hire someone that's a one fix all type person. That's not going to work. What that's going to do in your business, and it might sound like a great idea, right? Oh, I have to pay one person and I can get everything done. Well, that's exactly what you're going to get. You can't have someone do two jobs and do both of them successfully. Tell me if this sounds like you and your business, right? You spend a bunch of time doing outreach and booking meetings. Those meetings run and close, but as you're running and closing and actually working the meetings, the top of the funnel now is not being tended to. So it's kind of like it's ebbs and flows. So you do a lot of outreach, you work a lot of deals, now no one's doing outreach, you gotta work these deals. Once those deals close, then the pipeline's dry, right? Because you weren't able to actually fill the top of the pipeline. So that's what you're gonna do if you hire one of those reps. It is not possible for someone to give you 100% on prospecting and reaching out and generating meetings and 100% closing those deals. It's just not possible. I mean, what do you want them to focus on? You want them to focus on making the money or bringing in opportunities? So you need two different people, two different roles, two different responsibilities to be able to successfully grow your sales team. You need someone that's 100% focused on generating the interest and booking the calls on the calendar. And then you need someone to close those deals and bring them to the finish line. So what an SDR's function is gonna be that first person. They're gonna be in the trenches. They're gonna be doing high volume outreach. They're gonna be talking to people all day long, knowing your product, pitching your service, and getting them interested enough to dedicate 30 minutes to an hour on the phone with the next person in your sales process, which might be you, to close those deals. So keep them singularly focused on just that part of the funnel, the top to the middle of that funnel, and you're gonna be much more successful than having them try to do the entire process. That's my biggest thing there on when you should decide if you have enough money to actually invest in getting it. Now, there's two different types of SDRs. One is going to be commission only, and then the other one is going to be more of a salary-based individual. So both are good. It really depends on where you are at in your business. The quality of the opportunity is going to dictate the quality of the applicant. The better your offer, the better the compensation, the better the earnings potential, and the way that you are compensating them is going to give you a higher quality individual. If you're not paying them highly, or they don't get paid for 3 months because that's how long your deal cycle is, how do you expect to get an A+ player if they're not going to get paid for 90 days? Someone's going to know their worth. If they're good at sales, they're kind of like a hired gun. So you have to actually create a good opportunity and a good job description to get a high quality applicant. I see this so many times is, oh, I'm not getting anybody, or no one's signing our offer. We have a bunch of interviews, but they're just not interested. It's because you're not interesting. You have to make it actually enticing for somebody to work with you. With a commission only model, it's great, right? As a business owner, it's performance based. You only pay on quality work, but you're gonna have to pay more, right? Because there's no safety net, there's no floor, there's only a ceiling for that for the rep. What I say to do and what works best in our situations is paying the SDR for the work that they do and the outcomes that they can control. So a lot of business owners, they'll pay the SDR based on a closed deal. Not a good idea. Why? Because the SDR sets that meeting, that's the end of their responsibility. Then it's up to some other person to close that deal. So they're not fully in control of that outcome, which creates anxiety and a little bit of like pessimism. I'm like, he's not gonna be able to close this deal. That's where attrition and churn comes in this role, because you're not incentivizing them on things that they control. Easiest way to do that is you set out qualifications. What is a qualified lead for our business? Do they have to have a number of employees? Do they have to have a certain title and decision-making power? Do they have to have budget, right? They actually have to be able to afford your product or your service. And is there an immediate need, or is this something that just sounds cool for them, right? It's called BANT. You wanna make sure they have 3 out of 4 at a minimum. So now if you make their compensation tied to if they put a qualified prospect on the calendar and they show up, then their skin is in your game. So they're gonna be much more attuned to actually getting that qualification on the phone, because they know if they put someone on the calendar, even if they show up to the meeting and they're not qualified, they don't get paid. So align your goals as a business with how they're paid, and you're gonna have a much more successful process. Now, you're like, Dylan, where do you find these people, right? So once you build the outcome, once you build the description, and you're ready to start interviewing, so you're gonna wanna use a couple of different routes. Your traditional route is LinkedIn, right? You post a LinkedIn job and you get people that apply to that. You could get a lot of people, and now you're like, great, I just created something that requires a lot of time and energy, right? You gotta sift through resumes, filter them out, right? It takes a lot of time. You gotta book the calls, you gotta talk with all these people, see if they're even, confident and competent enough to have the job. Very tiresome. That's the cheapest route, but it's also gonna take the most of your time. What I would recommend doing is, if you are gonna post a resume, put a form in the resume where they're able to fill in the information that you need. I highly, 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 highly recommend them making a video of them doing a pitch, or an audio recording of how they sound on the phone, their tonality, their pace. That's gonna save you so much time on the front end, because now you can just listen to people. And if you don't see that person on the phone talking about your product, then don't waste their time, don't waste your time, right? So qualify a lot on the front end when you're doing interviews. Another great way to find it is through referrals. If you're a business owner, I guarantee you have other business owner friends. Reach out, right? If you are prominent on social media, make a post. Hey, is anyone interested in, appointment setting or becoming an SDR for my company? Earnings potential is between 6 and 10K a month. If you post that as an Instagram reel, a tweet, if you put it on LinkedIn, I guarantee someone's gonna see that that's interested, or someone's gonna see that knows someone that's interested, and they're gonna put you in touch totally free. You're gonna get a much higher quality applicant. And then the third, and probably the most fast and efficient way, is to actually go to somebody who does this as their core competency, kind of like someone like me. What you want to do is you want to talk to people who know salespeople, train salespeople, and this is their absolute way they make money, is training and placing salespeople. They're going to give you the highest quality quality applicant, and they're gonna come pre-vetted, they're gonna come pre-trained. Yes, it's gonna cost a premium, but you're also gonna get a premium employee, save yourself a bunch of time, and actually have someone that sticks around. So the SDR is the highest attrition role in the world. It's the role where people leave the most, people quit the most, people jump ship to a new opportunity to make a couple extra bucks. So you wanna make sure that you're actually getting the right person, because it's gonna take way more time and effort to just continually hire for this role. Now that you've found the person, now comes the interview process. The best way to do an interview with an SDR is to actually give them an assignment, a role play, something in a live environment where you can actually see if what they said is legit on their resume in person. People can talk a big talk, they can tell you what they want you to hear to get a job, but if you actually make them do a role play or like do a live cold call, you're actually gonna see what they're really made of and make the right hire. Now, disclaimer, do not just throw them into the fire. Be like, hey John, thanks for applying for our job. We're gonna do a quick role play right now. Bad idea. Make sure that they're prepped for the role play. Give them everything that they need to be successful at the role play. 2 reasons why. One, in a real situation, they're always gonna know what the offer is and what they're talking about. Non-real situation if you just throw them into the fire. Plus, they're not gonna like that. It's gonna make their guard up fearful. 2, it's gonna actually show if they can actually do homework and actually critically think. So if you give them all this information in a situation and a script, you're actually gonna see if they care enough to read the script, practice the script. You're gonna see the type of the person they are in a preparation perspective. Highly recommend doing a role play, doing it early. Don't drag out an interview process into 4 meetings. That doesn't do anyone any good. You're gonna be able to judge them off gut, right? So have 1 interview, a second interview would be a role play, and then decide whether or not they're gonna be the role for you. And if they don't work, hire fast and fire fast. I hope this video was informative for you. If you are looking for an SDR to hire, this is the blueprint that I would use to hire them. We have hired and trained over 500 SDRs. So this is the process and the things that we look for and we teach with the business owners that we help place reps with. If you're interested in having us place an SDR inside of your business, click the link in the description. I'd be more than happy to learn about your company needs and to see if we can put someone in there. If you found this valuable, hit that like and subscribe button.